Hello, y'all. Welcome to another Lazy Sports podcast with Schroeder. My name is, of course, Ryan Schroeder, and today I have something to talk about with y'all. Today is currently August 1st. I'm up. I went to work last night and all kinds of stuff. I'm up at what 1:40 right now, and the reason why I'm up so early in the morning is because I feel like I have some news to share with y'all. This is news that is, as of earlier today, was shared out. A tweet was put out 7 hours ago by Jackson Wagoner. And if you don't know who Jackson Wagoner is, I wrote an article about his team last year. We ended up playing Jackson Wagoner last year. They came to visit us in September 28th. So it was a game, and if you do remember, that was Covenant Christian, and we ended up beating Covenant Christian in that game. It was a good game. We won 48-21. We were down 0-14 first quarter, but due to Blaine get two passing touchdowns and a rushing touchdown, Luke Brown getting two touchdowns, and Jackson Redmond had a touchdown, and then obviously Manas just did well in the kicking aspect, and then we had some guys play really well on defensive side of the ball. Like overall, that game was really good for us, but it kind of proved to me that Covenant Christian wasn't the greatest. Now, if you do remember, I wrote a pre-article for that game. If you read that pre-article, then that's whatever. But if you didn't, I'll just give a summary. In the pre-article, I talked about how they had a new coach this year. The Colleyville Covenant had a brand new coach that's coming in, and this quarterback who had been there was named Jackson Wagner. Now, Jackson Wagner, I talked about a little bit in the article. If you would have read last year's book about Dave Campbell's last year's book, just a little side note, I actually got to meet Dave Campbell, which was really cool. He's in 84 now, so something like that. He's like in his 80s or something like that. A little bit older guy, but got to meet him. He's been making those Texas high school football books ever since like the age of I don't even know. He's been doing it forever. He's literally been doing it his whole life, and all to say that he's does know what he's talking about, and he was writing a couple things. He obviously wrote some stuff about Covenant Christian because it does every school in there. And the main thing it highlighted, because it highlights for us, it highlights our quarterback and all that kind of stuff. This year, some of the stats are already wrong. They say Blaine's going to be quarterback, which I know Major's going to be quarterback, but and everyone wants to talk about Major and Blaine. That's the main talk of this year was Major and Blaine. But keep getting myself caught in different things. What I mean to say is they usually have information that's really right and goes straight to the point about every team, and it usually ends up telling me who's going to be the player of the game. And what did it say about Covenant Christian? It said, wow, we have a guy here, his name is Jackson Wagner, and this kid is going to show out versus, every team plays this year. Because if you would remember, he's the same grade as me. He's a 22, he graduated 2020, and he was a junior last year. He's a sophomore the year before that. So sophomore year was when he had a breakout season. So overall, as a sophomore, he threw for almost 1,700 yards, and then on top of that, he ran for 350 as well. So I mean, the kid's pretty accurate too. He was 95 for 197. I mean, overall, his QB rating was 93.7. He played really well. Now, I think he was hurt last year. Because it says he only played 7 games, and that would make sense. He was hurt. I mean, his freshman year he played 14 games. His sophomore year he played 14 games, and his junior year he played 7. It just didn't make a lot of sense to me. But he still ended up throwing for 895 his junior year. Sorry, yeah. So last year he still ended up throwing 895. He only played 7 games, and he had 11 touchdowns. And his sophomore year he had 17 touchdowns. And overall, this is a good player, right? He only had 4 touchdowns, he only had 4 interceptions last season. He had 6 interceptions his sophomore year. So obviously, he played really well his sophomore year, and he had 4 rushing touchdowns his junior year and 4 rushing touchdowns his sophomore year. And you might be thinking, "Wow, this quarterback is incredible. He's great," but he's switching to go to Grapevine Faith. And he says in his tweet, "I would like to announce I'm going to be transferring to Grapevine Faith for my final year of high school. Thank you, CC Athletics," which is obviously Covenant Christian. "For the past 3 years, I'm ready for this next chapter in the last year of high school football. Go Lions at TapsBiz at TX TapScat whatever." And this only is this. And any way possible, this would have been like, okay, yeah, whatever, this guy's just trying to do what he can to get himself noticed for a senior year in high school. We've had kids do that before. Who do we have do that my freshman year? My freshman year, we had Ethan McCassin. He was supposed to come in for his senior year and then just dip because he just wanted to get his thing up. Then, what's it called? Why can't I think of his name? Who's not Ethan McCassin, but Caleb Lowe. Sorry, Caleb Lowe. What did Caleb Lowe do? Caleb Lowe came in and he basically was like, all right, I'm coming at the end of my junior year. I'm going to play my whole senior year. I'm going to go off and play, and that's what he did. He went off and he got to go play off in Kansas, I think. And that's what he did. Guys come in for their senior year just so they can get a good senior year and leave. That's kind of the idea. Blaine did it so he could come in his senior year and stuff. Like, guys come in just to, get their final 2 years of private school, whatever, and play. Well, here's the thing. He was at Covenant Christian, which was already a great spot for him, but then he's transferring to Grapevine Faith. And if y'all don't know who the Grapevine Faith quarterback is, keep in mind Grapevine Faith had a great year last year. Absolutely incredible. The team ended up going to the playoffs. I don't know when they lost in playoffs, or if they might have won the whole thing for all I know. But he is what's it called. The team plays outstanding every single year, and they win the district every year. I mean, this year the districts did change last year, but they used to win their old district, and we came in third place in district this year. The teams behind us were Southwest and Pop. The teams in front of us were Fort Worth and Grapevine killed us in our game against them. And so keep in mind, we've played against Deuce Hogan, which is the Grapevine quarterback, and we played against Jackson Wagoner, which is a Covenant Christian. We played against both of them last year, and Deuce Hogan is just an incredible player. Incredible player. He's a three-star 247 athlete. So 247 Sports ranks him as a 3-star, which is a .8867. And then he's ranked 20th for as a position like pro, basically he can play most positions. He's ranked 57th in the state of Texas, and he's ranked 390th nationally. A guy in our district, a quarterback in our district, is ranked 390th nationally. Keep that in mind. But he's already committed to Iowa. Now, you were like, what? Why the heck is this guy committing to Iowa? Like, Iowa out of all schools, why would I commit to Iowa? Well, it says that Deuce Hogan committed to Iowa back in June 29th of 2018. So, around a year ago, he committed there and played his whole last season at Grapevine Faith, just already committed to Iowa. Well, in January of 2019, so January of this year, after the season basically ended, Tennessee offered Deuce, and then big-name schools like Georgia offered him January 16th. And you're thinking to yourself, well, why did he commit so early? Why did he commit before his junior year started? And that's a great question, because Deuce Hogan still has so much in him. But anyways, he got offered by Georgia. You never know. He might uncommit or whatever. He runs a 4.87 to 40. He's 204. He's a big kid. He's a big kid, real big kid. And overall, he's almost 6'4". He's 6'3.5". I mean, he's a pretty good kid. Deuce Hogan, obviously, good quarterback. That's all I meant to say. And his pass. Oh, here's the thing I want to say. So 2017, which would be Deuce's, because keep in mind, Deuce is also a senior. He's also a 2020 class, just like Jackson Wagoner. Keep in mind, that same year as Jackson's breakout year was Deuce's breakout year. Deuce's breakout year was his sophomore year, where he passed for 2,716 yards with 29 touchdowns. 29 passing touchdowns. He was 219 for 372. And then last year, he still passed for 1,500, and he had 18 passing touchdowns. His freshman year, he passed for 23 touchdowns and on 1,600 yards, and he was 104 for 206. Last year, he was 108 for 244. Deuce Hogan is incredible quarterback. Why am I telling you all this? Well, why is Jackson Wagoner moving over to Grapevine Faith to go play? Why is Jackson Wagoner coming to Grapevine Faith his senior year when there's already a quarterback sitting in that slot? Why is Jackson Wagoner one of the best guys for his high school, one of the best guys in that whole area? Why is he leaving? Why is he going to play with Deuce Hogan? Well, there's a little couple of things that Deuce and Jackson are actually really, really good buds. They're like friends in real life and stuff, and they always want to play with each other. But Jackson plays a couple other positions, and if you look at his Max Preps profile, you'll see a couple of things on that. And the couple of things you'll see on that is the fact that he plays defense. Like, he plays defense too, and which makes sense. Most private school kids that are elite play both sides of the ball. I mean, you look at who's a good example on our team is Trey Purdue. He plays both sides of the ball. He plays wide receiver. He plays kick returner. He plays safety, linebacker. He plays just about every position. Let's be honest. He plays every position. But I mean, most guys are like that. So I'm assuming he won't. Even though Jackson Wagoner, his whole first 3 years of high school, he played a quarterback. Now he's going to be switching his position, and let me finish before you tell me who this sounds like. His senior year of high school, he switches positions to a position he's only somewhat familiar with, and goes onto the defensive side, which I'm guessing because he says he's an outside linebacker, but there's no way he's an outside linebacker. I don't think he's. Dude, keep in mind Jackson Wagoner, he's kind of a weird kid. He looks kind of weird. I'm not even gonna. He looks like a guy that you wouldn't see playing quarterback. Like, Deuce looks like a quarterback, but he doesn't. This Jackson Wagoner doesn't even look like a quarterback that much. But he's going to play defense next year, and on defensive side, the defensive side, he had 23 total tackles last year, 40 on his sophomore year, and 73 his freshman. So he played mostly defensive his freshman year, which makes sense. Why would you be a starting quarterback your freshman year unless you play for Covenant Christian and you're on a team that's not great, which is Covenant Christian, but he still played 73 total tackles. He played 14 games that season. He played 14 games sophomore season. He played 7 games last year. Like we said, we think he was hurt. I didn't do enough research on that to see if he was hurt. But all of this to say, Jackson Wagoner is now going to go play with Deuce Hogan. And this Grapevine Fake team is going to get even better, which is going to be scary. But at the same time, we don't know what position Jackson Wagoner is going to play. It just seems kind of weird that there's going to be 2 elite quarterbacks at Grapevine Faith. And if you couldn't tell my illusion that I was making earlier, who I was alluding to, I was alluding to Blaine. What did Blaine do? Blaine played quarterback his first 3 years of high school. Now he's switching to a tight end position his senior year, and Major's going to go play quarterback. I don't know what to tell you. I think when he was a backup at Lone Star, he really wanted to get on the ball. He really wanted to play. He just, he came to Legacy. He showed out last year. He took us to the first time we've been to playoffs in a while. We had to go first round against Dallas Christian, hard team. We were a hard team, first game, and it was really sad to see us go down that easily. But I mean, it was. We had to play such a hard team. Blaine was such a good quarterback, and I don't know what's going to happen this year. Overall, we could end up playing someone really, really good and beating them in the playoffs, or we could just even have a breakout year this year with Major at quarterback. I have not even seen Major throw the ball since, December? We played in November. I haven't seen Major Griffith throw a ball since November. I can't say anything. Can't say a word. Major Griffith could be one of the best rising quarterbacks in the nation. I wouldn't know a thing. Blaine could be one of the best tight ends in the nation. I wouldn't know a thing. Deuce Hogan could play like garbage and get hurt this year, and Jackson Wagoner could be the star to come off the bench, and Deuce Hogan would still then commit to Georgia. We don't know what's going to happen this year. That's why this is going to be so exciting. It is August 1st, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hyped for the season. I don't know if you're hyped for the season, but I am definitely hyped. Please stick around for the rest of the year for all of my podcasts. This has been Ryan Schroeder with Legacy Sports Talks with Schroeder. Thank y'all for coming into this. Just good first podcast of the season. I'll catch y'all on the next one. Appreciate y'all.